Hey everybody, Scott Pierce and Yi Gong here with Listings to Leads. Hopefully everybody can see us. Let me know. Go ahead and put a comment if you're on with us already. And we'll get started here in just a few minutes.
Hi everyone, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
And let me just send that out. Awesome. So yeah, as people come through, we are going to be recording this. So this will be live. We'll try to download it and make it available in the training center as well. So yeah, just give it a minute here. Let people log in. Rhonda, good to see you. Where are you coming in from? We're just going to give it a minute and then we're going to get started. Craig, how are you doing, dude? Central Maryland, awesome. Rhonda, St. Louis. St. Louis. My father's family is from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. So coming down from Michigan all the time into Missouri as a kid. Victoria from San Francisco. Where in San Francisco are you from? I lived there for 1989 to 2009, like 20 years in the city, all over.
Right, we know every street, every little alley.
Right, Noe Valley, Russian Hill, North Beach, Lakes, 7th and Lake area. So yeah, San Francisco, beautiful city. Myrtle Beach, God, Myrtle Beach,
Wow.
South Carolina, so beautiful.
Yeah.
When
Thank
I
you
was in
for
the
being
Army,
here because it's quite late over there.
yeah, well, you could either be watching TV or you could be watching us. And here we're going to get to it. Give it about 30, 40 seconds. Thanks everybody for joining us. Craig. Hey, Craig, we were looking for, if you've got one and want to put it in the chat or maybe send it to me via Facebook Messenger and I'll check it if you tell me. I was looking for if you did that single property website where you were going to put in that video talking about affordability. Because Yi and I were talking about that today. We thought that was a really cool idea, and I thought I might show that. So, Craig, if you've got that, maybe put it in the chat or put it in the, like I said, send it to me via Facebook. I got my other monitor open, and I can check for that. Awesome. Carlos, yeah. I mean, South Carolina. So I was in the military at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I don't remember how, but even in basic training, we were sneaking up to, is it Charleston, right near Fort Jackson? Anyways, a lot of time in Charleston. So beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and get going here. All right, so we are talking about open houses today. In my mind, open houses are one of the best ways to really get your business growing fast because it is one of the few things that puts you in front of and face-to-face with buyers and sellers if you use the Listings to Leads marketing tools, along with whatever else it is that you're doing. So we're going to walk through here today. Before I get started, just a couple of quick things here. This is from a client I was talking to over the weekend, and literally 3 buyers without real estate agents looking to buy in the next 3 months, a 550, 700, and a possible $1 million properties that these 3 different buyers have. And he used the Listings to Leads marketing checklist. He used the Listings to Leads mastery checklist. He sent me a video. It's got a beautiful little spread there with the crackers and some wine and some cider and stuff. Then he used the open house sign-in form to get people to sign in. So absolutely awesome right here. Another thing I'll share with you that I was talking to another client a couple of days ago, I guess on Friday, so about 4 days ago, and she was using the pending nearby homeowner letter. And I show that because I want to show, and so she sent 50 letters and got the listing. So absolutely amazing. And I want to point that out in conjunction with this right here. All right. So Corey Smallman, 13 listings in 1 farm area using the just listed and the just sold nearby homeowner letter. So if it is your open house, I want you to be thinking about, the process of going through open house, pending, just sold. And so we're going to use some of these tools during the open house, but then we're also going to use them later for even more lead generation opportunities. All right. Yi, anything you want to add to that?
No, let's get started. It's going to be
Let's
fun.
get started. All right. So let's go to listings to leads, log in. You don't need to do anything right now. Just watch for a while. Oh, you know what? I just, a client actually who lives in Auburn, not too far from us here, invited me to go door knocking with her tomorrow for her open house. So I'm not sure if I can do it tomorrow the next day, but yeah, I'm going to go door knocking with her and see if we can't get some listings. And I'll talk more about that in this presentation today, so or in the call today. So I'm going to go to the marketing calendar presentations tab. There's a tab here called Open House Mastery. If you are a coach, a trainer, a lender, this is a beautiful thing to train on. It's a beautiful presentation. We're going to go through that today. We've got the Open House Mastery checklist. So this is what you're going to use to produce or to hold open the open house. Like, how do you hold open an open house in a way that actually gets buyers and sellers? So it's one thing to market and get people to it, generate leads before the open house starts. But then this right here, Open House Mastery, is how do you do the open house? And then what do you do after the open house to keep generating buyer and seller leads? So that's the checklist. Might as well download it. We can take a quick look at it. And so this is in your account. So everyone here that has a Listings to Leads account, this is available for you. I'm going to go ahead and close it because we're going to talk through it. We've got the guide. This is like a 39-page. This is a companion to the presentation. So for example, in the presentation, I talk about, for example, speakers or scents or different things that relate to the open house. And so there will be a lot of links out to different things. And so this is a great, great handout here. So take a look at that later. And for now, we're going to get into the presentation part of it. So the open house, I mean, come on. Open houses are just literally, like I said in the intro, it's putting you face to face with both buyers and sellers. It motivates homeowners to come take a look at it, to start thinking about selling their home. And so the open house, and again, you can do this even if it's not your listing. So if you don't have a listing and you're a little bit stuck in your lead generation, you're trying to figure out how to get some business going, start borrowing listings. And I'll talk about that here as we go. So in this first part here, we're going to go through the presentation. Then we're going to go into the actual marketing of the listing. And then we're going to talk about post open house marketing to get more listings and more buyers. So real quickly, again, this works for your listing or borrowed, and you can repeat it on a weekly basis. I would try to, especially in my business growth stage, where I'm really trying to grow my business and get that going and get more listings and get more buyers, I would do as many open houses as I can. All right. Don't do them all for like here. I've got a client right now. He's done like 4 or 5 open houses on the same listing. So try to rotate, even if it's your listing. Think about getting another listing to hold open if you've held yours open, after, more than maybe 3 times, because your results are going to diminish greatly if you keep doing the same open house all the time. That's where like new construction people get into a little bit of trouble because they're sitting there at the new construction unit just until it sells. And, anyways, we're going to generate between 24 and 140 leads. And we're going to convert some of these fast, just like you saw in the intro, right? 3 buyers coming through, unrepresented, all had listings to sell. And it's not by mistake. The marketing that we're going to do actually is pulling homeowners in to the open house or buyers with homes to sell. So it's not a mistake that he got 3 buyers with homes to sell. We're going to talk about creating an unforgettable experience. All right, just like he did. I think that's what helped him get all these people dialed into him so fast, because he didn't do the natural or the normal open house. He did something that was a lot above and beyond that. And he literally did a lot of what we're going to talk through here today. So, and again, this is the difference between you just sitting there, like a normal agent, and people coming through and you're not engaging, you're not connecting with any of them, versus what he did using this marketing, using the open house mastery, and actually, all right, getting 3 buyers with homes to sell. Even 1 would have been amazing. let alone 3. My gosh, it's like a grand slam in the World Series. So again, we're
Seems
going
to
to
be
create
the easiest. Yeah. Seems to be the easiest to think about. Just think about how hard is it for you to get one listing. So leverage that one listing and get 3. That's your goal.
Well, and that's why I mentioned earlier about thinking through if it's your listing, all right, we're going
Right.
to do the open house marketing. Then you're going to have the pending marketing to look forward to. You got the just sold marketing to look forward to. So yeah, I mean, it's not about just an open house. Now, if you're borrowing the listing, that's a little bit different, but it's still
Mhm.
something I would recommend that you do, because even if it's not your listing, if you can do an open house every week for like 3 or 4 months, the change to your business will be so good that you probably wouldn't have to do an open house if you didn't want to, but you'll probably find that they're one of the better things that you can do. So with that,
Right.
because we're creating the experience, we're going to create more conversations like we've talked about to position you as the go-to agent for both buyers and sellers, like we just showed, and more listing opportunities. I mean, this is all just absolutely dovetailing into what happened this last Sunday. So Jared James gave me a quote. I asked him because, he loves open houses. And so he was talking about how 72% of the people work with the first agent they talk to. We know that, right? Typically, if we have a good conversation with somebody, they don't want to go looking for another agent, right?
That's so true.
Yeah. I mean, interviewing agents is not the top of anybody's list. So if we can have an open house where we can literally meet face to face with people, so many more buyers, so many more listings. And you do me a favor, if you can, watch the questions and just see if in case anything comes up while I'm talking.
Okay.
And then, of course, obviously interject with your great wit. All right. So again, put yourself face to face. And this last part right here. All right. Visibility trumps ability. But more importantly, in this market, visibility is your responsibility. So again, you're all smart agents. You're all phenomenal. It's just we got to put you in front of more buyers. We got to put you in front of more homeowners. We got to put you in front of more people that are thinking to sell, and then to be able to have those conversations to move it along, like what we saw a little bit earlier there. So picking the open house is so important. Very, very critical, the open house that you're doing. First of all, do it in an area that you want to generate buyer and seller leads. Great point. Get a good price point, not too expensive, not too cheap, unless those are just your absolute market. But we want to get a home that's in a high turnover, so that we're going to get a lot of people coming through, right? We want to generate, I'd rather generate, 50 leads for a $600,000 home than 15 leads for $1 million home, right? I want to get that real nice turnover spot where I can get more buyers and more sellers. And lastly here, don't do it in a really hard to get to area. Think about condo buildings. If there's a bunch of codes that they got to go through, or gated communities with a guard, just be careful about that, because that can turn people off from coming into the open house. If you're not sure about how to borrow a listing, for those of you without a listing to hold open, or again, like I said, be so careful about that. And again, I've seen it with a few clients lately of, they got that listing and they keep holding it open every weekend because it hasn't sold. And I have to tell them, like, listen, stop. Like, that's the 4th time you've held that listing open in 2 months. You got to find something else, right? You can't be doing the same listing, because you're just wasting money at that point. So talk to your broker. Yep. Talk to your broker. Tell them what you're up to. They will help you out if you need. They're going to love that you're, being proactive and trying to grow your business. And make sure when you get an agent that will let you hold their listing open, make sure they still put it in the MLS. All right. Make sure they still put it on Zillow, wherever they would normally put it, so that you still get that traffic as well. I remember when I was an agent, I did an open house, and this was, before all the Facebook ads, and the agent didn't put in the MLS. And that was back then how a lot of the traffic would come through. And man, I was so bummed. I sat there for like 2 hours with nobody coming through. Oh, that was before listings to leads. So
that should be the first thing that you check.
Yeah, well, and you'll see in here a little bit later, I mentioned the fact that, make sure to have the seller put it on next door that you're doing the open house, right? Because I want all the people in next door to see it. And, the agent can't do it. The listing agent can't do it, but you can ask the seller could be asked to do it. All right. But before we even do the open house, we got to market the open house. All right. And that's where the market listing, right? This should look familiar. If you're a client of Listings to Leads, this right here will look familiar. This is a marketing list that you just go through vertically, right? Top to bottom, and perform all these actions. And they will include, and we're going to walk through a lot of this, how to do a Facebook and Instagram ad, social media posts, the seller social media, which is the seller social media and the e-flyer for the seller are phenomenal. All right. Absolutely phenomenal. In fact, one of the top agents in the country at the time was the impetus for the e-flyer for the seller. Because what she was doing is she was creating these beautiful e-flyers. And finally she came to me. She's like, Scott, if you could just do this, I would love you. And so we did it. And then from there, it was like, well, then why don't we do a social media post that the seller can put on their page and talk about great free leads for the listing agents. Then we got the nearby homeowner letter, one of the best tools in the industry for getting leads, listings. We've also got postcards and door hangers. Obviously, you're not going to use all of them. You just one or the other. Sign writers. We are definitely going to talk about sign writers. Listing flyers. The e-flyer for your database. So we're going to have an invite. I want you to think about that e-flyer as the invite to your database. We're going to send it to the sellers. We're going to send it to buyers. We're going to do a short form video. We got the sign-in form. So open house exclusive. This is one of the things, Dustin Fox, if you've seen the book, 6 Weeks to Real Estate Success, right, Dustin? He does a 3-day open house, which I think is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of time. But he does a neighborhood exclusive for all of his open houses. So if you can swing that is a phenomenal way to use the nearby homeowner letter, to use a circle prospecting script, and have something special for the homeowners to really dial it up to even generate more seller leads. If you can't, we're gonna kind of blend that into the regular open house. But the neighborhood exclusive is a great idea if you can do it. So again, 1 to 3 days before the public open house. So Dustin, he does Friday neighborhood, and then he'll do Saturday and Sunday public. So the neighborhood exclusive, he does a catered thing, and it's, all the homeowners come, in the area come through. And then on the Saturday and Sunday, he does catering as well, but it's a little bit different. But again, then that's public. So all the marketing and all the people can come through. Again, use the nearby homeowner letter and circle prospect, as I just mentioned. Quick little script. I'm not going to go through the script in great detail here, but it's a script to use when you're calling. So when you're going to circle prospect to invite the neighbors to the open house, the letter is phenomenal. But if you can pair it up with a phone call, be careful about the DNC, all that kind of good stuff. But if you got good numbers that you scrubbed against the DNC, maybe use Redex, maybe use My Plus Leads. All right, so great script that we want to call. Because again, we want them to feel special. I want the homeowners around my open house to feel like I'm somebody from, Neiman Marcus or Tiffany's or, Good, whatever your favorite expensive brand is that you just feel so good about when you think about it. That's what we want homeowners to think or to feel when they think about you. So when they see your open house, when they hear you that you're calling to invite them to it, when you actually give them an invitation, all right, the nearby homeowner letter, that creates a different experience. So you can take a look at this in your account later. As I mentioned, next door. Ask the seller to put it on next door. And again, if you're borrowing the listing, ask the listing agent, hey, do you mind, have the homeowner, can they put it on next door so that way everybody knows about it? Especially if you're spending money, right? Let the listing agent know you're going to spend money to promote it. So, it's the least they could do. Next up is your database. So we want to make sure that we invite our database. I would email the e-flyer out as the invite to my entire database. then I would try to call 50 leads the week before. So every day I'm going to call 10 leads, right? It could be a combination of buyer leads, could even be a combination of some seller leads, right? A homeowner maybe that you got in as a seller, they want to come by and see the property that you're holding open, so they can kind of compare it against their property and see how the market is doing. A great way, right, to get face to face with them. So call through your database. If you can't do 50, do 10. All right, maybe you can't do 10, do 5, and try to do 10 next week and 50 the week after. All right, the open house experience. So we did all the open house marketing. Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, you can, whatever you want. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what was the schedule that you set up? When do you start the marketing?
Yeah, I would start
Can you give
marketing.
like a
Yeah,
calendar?
the Monday before, right? I would
Okay.
probably do my ad Monday. I would do the e-flyer invite on Tuesday or Wednesday, right? And then maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, try to call through my database to invite some people to the open house. The ad on Monday, the post on Monday. We got some other things like Instagram stories, the short form videos. So you can do those actually multiple times during the week as invites. Because, keep in mind, only 10% of your audience will see any one thing on social media. So whether it's an Instagram story or a Facebook post, you can do multiple versions of the same thing and don't have to worry too much about people being oversaturated, because just the way the algorithm works, they're not going to see everything that you post. So we'll get to that a little bit later, though, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. The open house experience. So this is where the rubber meets the road. The idea of people doing business with who they know, like, and trust, which, as we saw in the intro, right? When you get 3 buyers coming through, even if they don't have a home to sell, and you're able to connect with them, right? That shows you that you've somehow built some great know, like, and trust. And that's exactly what this is going to do, right? Beautiful first impressions, right? Quickly get to engage with these people, right? And we're going to over deliver, right? We are absolutely going to over deliver on what they expect from an open house, what they expect from a real estate agent. So we're going to get some handouts. All right, back to school. All right, back to school. We're going to have some handouts. You're going to get clipboards. And this is the kind of stuff that's in the guide. So if, for example, you're thinking, well, what does he mean by clipboard? Where would I get them? Or anything else that you'll see in here, refer to the guide. And I've got links to Amazon, links to other places. So we're going to have the listing flyer, a neighborhood guide or summary using ChatGPT. We're going to have the open house sign-in form. So if you've got it online, perfect. You'll just have that right there. And we'll talk through that here in a little bit. But if you're using the paper version, which is completely valid, that'll be part of the handout. Have a pen and then print out all the other open houses in the area, but we're not going to give that to them right now. All right. Learn about the home, the neighborhood, the community, the HOA. You don't just show up. Right? You don't just show up at an open house and wing it. Drive around the neighborhood, get to know things a little bit. I might go through there and do a couple of videos, right? Go find a cafe, go find, a grocery store, go find, a little couple of boutiques to highlight ahead of your open house to invite people to it. The schools are good to know, right? Especially those parents are going to come through and they want to know what school district and how's the schools around here. And be an expert in all the pending, recently sold, and active listings. That's one thing I tell you is so impressive with the real estate agent. You're right. And, we all know, and hopefully you are that kind of agent where they can go back and like, oh yeah, this such and such property sold in December, and they're able to recollect the price and the size and, what was good about it. And they're able to have, because of that, a lot better conversations with people. And that's why really going on the broker tours, if you're MLS, if you do the broker tours are always so important to go on, right? I want to see all these homes. I want to be able to talk, from firsthand experience about other homes that are in the area. It's just going to make me sound much more professional versus, oh yeah, look, I think it's a 3-bedroom, or you're looking at your phone trying to learn about the property. No, if you can go see the property ahead of time, you're going to sound so much better off. All right, creating a welcome atmosphere. This is so critical. Again, we want to get people comfortable. We want to create conversations.
Mhm.
So with that point, flags or balloons. In fact, Dustin, I was just looking through this the other day, and he even says, make sure the balloons are your branding colors. So,
Oh,
if your colors are red and white or blue and white or purple and green, make sure those balloons match your colors. And he's serious, right? Because it does. It just, I mean, imagine you come up, you want to know that that's the open house. And, to have the flags, to have the balloons there, it just looks great, right? It creates more excitement. It creates more energy. Just talking about it. I love it, right? Get the attention of everybody in the area. I want the other homeowners to be jealous of, crap, when the other home sold down the street, they had a janky looking A-frame. You know what I mean? They had, a little bandit sign, and that was kind of it, promoting the open house. No. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to go above and beyond. We're going to make this look like an event so that all the other homeowners in the area are jealous of our client, or at least of us holding that home open. All right.
should we get an ice cream truck too? Kidding.
Yeah, I've had clients that do that. They don't
Really?
start off that way, but as they get, into this, right? You start small, you stay in budget, you do what you can, because it's more important to do more of them than it is to do like one big one, right? Like, don't go below $2,000
Oh,
on
no.
a food truck, and you can't afford that really, and you're putting it on your credit card. Don't do that, right? Just start small, and then Dustin Fox. I mean, he now has food trucks, and those things aren't cheap. You got to pay. I called. You got to pay. It was like $1,500 minimum, or something like that. So if people didn't buy that much money there, I would have been on the hook for it.
Yeah, the
You
best
got to
is
be
to go
confident that you're
Costco,
marketing.
get these bags of nuts, different kind of nuts, and then you buy these little bags and put them in a little bag.
Yeah.
Super
Yep.
cheap and adorable. And people love
Yeah. In
that.
fact, that's actually listed right here. So that'll be, I think, in the third part of this right here. So
Yeah.
music and sound, so important, right? You walk into a lot of shops and restaurants and different places, there's that music in the background. So keep that in mind. So if you got a speaker, maybe the owner has a speaker, maybe somebody has a little portable speaker that you can borrow. And again, we got more information in the guide about that, right? Watch your music. Don't go nuts. Scent and smell. So there's a QR code actually links to a great article talking about scent. And, there's things like vanilla, opening up the windows can be good. Let me go back there. Sorry about that. My screen flickered off. I've got in here scented candles, but then I read something the other day about scented candles burn off a toxin.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
Not very healthy.
well, I mean, really, I get it, but at the same time, I don't want some person to come through and start yelling at me about burning toxins and trying to kill them. But you can do vanilla, right? You could bring in vanilla. That would be great. Opening up the windows, making sure it's a nice fresh. We don't have any kind of funky odors going on, but just be cognizant of that. And hey, if you're cool with burning a candle, I would be. I mean, I'm whatever. But it was just funny because it was only maybe about a month ago I read that, and I was just thinking, man, they're gonna, everything is gonna kill you. Every little thing.
Yeah. I'll stay away from candles.
Antonio, what's up, dude? Good to see Antonio on the call. Celeste. Oh, I didn't know Scott. Oh, wow.
Some beautiful smell good flowers were there instead of.
I'll tell you what, right. Well, and all right. So for all of the guys on this call, here's a little life hack if you're married or you have a significant other, before the open house, you go buy the flowers, you take them to the open house. It's going to smell and look beautiful. After the open house, take them to your significant other and act like you bought it for them.
Are you regifting?
Yeah, it's kind of like a regifting, and I think you can write it off. Now, if your partner also manages your finances and they see you writing off the flowers that you're giving them every week, they might get a little suspect, or they might be impressed with your financial acumen.
That's funny.
Right? Would you be impressed with that, or would you feel that was kind of cheesy?
I
You would
think
be
it's
impressed. I know
yeah,
you.
I love
Yeah.
flowers.
No, but I'm saying you would actually be impressed.
Oh yeah, oh totally. I love flowers.
Yeah.
I would prefer flowers than the candles because you just
Well, no,
never
no,
know.
no,
Some
no. I'm
candles very
saying
strong.
no, but I'm saying you would be impressed if
Oh,
I gave you
the
flowers and then
same
tried to write
flowers.
them off.
Yeah, I would know. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
impressed.
yeah, right.
Most wives would be.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You show no, you can manage the money, right? You got financial, like I said, prowess, and you did use them at the open house. It would look beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would totally recommend it. Totally recommend it. Food and drinks.
Okay.
Definitely want to do this. Someone just mentioned in the chat, warm cookies in the oven. Definitely, if you're comfortable doing that, man, come by. Some chocolate chip cookies. Don't use nuts, right? So many people nowadays are allergic to nuts, apparently. So chocolate chip cookie, peanut. Well, I just said no nuts, and I go to peanut butter.
But it
I
tastes
love
so
peanut
good.
butter. That's my
Yeah, it
favorite.
tastes
Peanut
so
butter
good.
cookies.
I know. Love
Yeah,
cookies.
yeah. But we're gonna give you some more food ideas here in a minute. So consider getting your lender. All right, Craig, you cheap lender, you Antonio. All right, you guys step in here, help your agents out. And we're gonna get into more lender stuff. I promise you. So Antonio, I love that you're on the call here. Antonio here is a mortgage officer with Listings to Leads. Craig Johnson as well. And we're going to talk more about the lenders here in a little bit later. All right. And I love the idea of, going to a local bakery. Maybe again, if you got the budget for it, go to a local bakery. Maybe you're promoting the bakery with a little sign there. If you're, if you're, it's good. My daughter, she would probably go to the bakery and get them to donate half of it. Knowing her, she's really good at talking to businesses. So if you're good at, trying to do some cross promoting there, right? Go to a local cafe or market, tell them you're expecting a lot of people at the open house. And could I get 20% off if I put your, put a little flyer for you?
You might get it for free. Some donut shops, they have plenty there at the end of the day. It's still good.
Oh my God. Are you telling them to do 2-day-old donuts?
Well, that does not necessarily mean donuts, but they have some good stuff.
Well, on the donut side,
Yeah.
I'm
Forget
wondering,
what I just said.
could
It's
you,
more
could
fun.
you take the day-old donuts and put like a little wet paper towel over them, put them in the oven for 250, right? And kind of get some little moisture into them. And then I'll tell you, get the cinnamon donuts. It's going to smell beautiful. But I'm not going to know the 2-day-old donuts between that and the flowers. Oh my God. If people
That's
only knew. I'm sorry. Let's go back here. My favorite food idea is I like the mixed nuts. And you know
yeah,
why?
right.
It's healthy. It's
Yeah.
tasty. You can buy, and in fact, it's in the guide. You can buy like a 2-pound thing at Costco for like $20, and I
Yeah.
bet that would probably last you for a couple of open houses. Antonio says a air fryer. Yeah, French pastries. Yeah, so many great ideas. Paul, so hilarious. Someone has done this before. Paul, no, I just have a very awful ideas percolating. All right, so food, a lot of great ideas. Drinks, you got your waters with your logo on them is fine. Martinelli's, I love Martinelli's. So I'm thinking, the big Martinelli bottle because it's a little bit cheaper to buy them that way. Maybe you go to Costco, you buy like a 6-pack, and then you got the little individual cups. And what you would do is pour some cups, get the mixed nuts or whatever your food is going to be, have it available. We're going to mention that in the marketing, right? Directional signs. This is one of the things I always thought was so stupid. Oh my God. When I was an agent, oh my God, I hated this. But in talking to so many agents, this is really critical, right? Getting some directional signs. Right, if anybody's got some good links to good ones, put them in the mastermind group. I think in the guide, there's some links as well. Right, you don't want to do 10 to 30 A-frames. That can be really bulky and expensive, but you can buy really good signs because what we want is we want everyone in the area to like see our signs to the point where they're like, you know what, let's just go look at it. Right. It's the fifth sign I've seen. All right. Maybe God is trying to tell me something. Who knows? Right. But the more signs you've got out, the more people you're going to coming through. Because people are also going to be thinking like, wow, this must be a really great open house if they got so many signs out. Because again, we're trying to project, right? This is projection, but it's a projection in a great way.
Right. I
Yeah.
used to think like 1030, like 30 sign, that seemed insane. But
Oh,
honestly,
there are people
if
that
people do
do.
that, yeah,
Yeah. I might come in at like 10 to 20, completely depending on the area, right?
yeah,
Every area might be a little bit different.
yeah,
But I might try to get, 10 to 20 signs out.
yeah.
All right. Prepping for the open house. Get there 30 minutes early. Don't show up right before it starts. We want to be chill. We want to be cool. We want to be relaxed. All right. Make sure the toilet seats are down, countertop. Just go through, make sure everything looks good. Maybe open a window, get some fresh air in there if you need to. Throw everything under the bed or in the closet. As people come through, make sure you got a good handshake, good eye contact. All right. Don't be that agent that just sits there. Even when I go to open houses, my gosh, it's sometimes I just wonder, like, really? Like, are you a babysitter? Because they'll just be standing there and they're like, oh, here's a flyer, wander off. All right. Because we want to be recognized as a professional. All right. People appreciate professionals, and especially the professionals do. Right. That's one thing about people talk about the luxury market and how do I go more for the luxury market? Well, you don't do it by just marketing to rich people or whatever you think. It's being the best professional you can, because professionals, people that have money, want to deal with people that are absolute professionals in everything they do. And usually, in my mind, the more successful people value professional realtors even more. You know what I mean? Would you say that, Yi?
Agree. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
there's
it's
nobody
all
I
about perceived notion, right? When you have that kind of professionalism, people immediately drawn to you, like respect you.
Yeah. I mean,
So
don't
that's
worry about other agents.
yeah,
Don't worry about all of that stuff. Worry about yourself. Be the best professional you can be, because I know some really rich people that have great relationships and close relationships with real estate agents as friends, because they trust them professionally and they became friends. And so, yeah, don't be all lackadaisical. It just comes off bad.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Icebreakers, intros, take it, use them verbatim as inspiration, right? Trying to just open up a little bit of dialogue with people coming through, right? Trying to get a feel for, what brought them by the open house. Do they live in the area? Right. Try to get a little bit of a feel for if they own the property in the area. Now, we're going to have the open house sign-in form that we're going to go through during open house marketing. And we'll have some language around that about making sure people sign in, given security, and the homeowner is asked to have everybody sign in, just like what we saw with our client there in the intro, right? The people sign in, they mark that they've got a home, and then he's able to have very good conversations with them.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So how do you talk to somebody without coming off as being too aggressive? Like,
I think just read body language.
yeah,
Because you got to figure, you got the introduction, then you're going to have giving them the handouts, like, hey, here's a couple of handouts, and if you could sign in. And then you got the food. They're going to walk around the property. So you just got to really read the body language, read the room, and understand you've got different points during their visit to the open house where you can engage. So you don't have to do it in the beginning. You don't have to do it while they're walking, because they very well could stop by, grab a little bit of the mixed nuts, grab a Martinelli's, whatever it's going to be, and then you can talk to them while they're there, right? And again, I
yeah,
think the goal is just to have a conversation, because once people will start talking to you, then you're going to find out you might be able to get more into the buying and selling and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
All right, so give them the clipboard as they come through. Let them know there's more information about the property in the area. Oh, excuse me, and ask them to sign in. So again, you may have the sign in, the paper version with the clipboard, or you may have a tablet or a laptop where they do it. Either way is completely fine. Again, here's a little bit of a script about the seller has asked to make sure everybody signs in for security purposes. And I'm sure you can understand and can appreciate that. And I would love to have your feedback a little bit later. Thank you.
I love that script.
And I think the homeowners especially will appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, if you're trying to impress homeowners coming through, they for sure will appreciate you doing that. Right. Again, this is part of being a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't feel nervous. Right. I know sometimes agents go, well, what if, you can't worry about the what if. So you do the script. I'm not going to fight anybody. So somebody says, well, I'm not going to do it. Right. Or if they give you fake information, what are you going to do? It's going to happen.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I tell, especially, so a little bit of an aside, but imagine if you get bad information from like a Facebook lead. So you get a Facebook lead. Normally, and I spot check a lot of people all the time, 75 to 80% will be a good email and a good phone number. Another 5 to 10% will be either good email or good phone. Anywhere from 10 to 25% will be bad email and bad phone, but they are still going to be in your, they're still going to see more of your ads, right? Because they filled out they engaged with one of your ads. So they're going to see more of your ads just naturally. And so later on, when they're a little bit more serious about buying or selling, right, hopefully you'll start getting better information from them. So don't freak out too much about getting a bad email and a bad phone number. Nobody likes it. All right. It's just it's just
the nature of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, and it always has been. It's the nature of every industry on every platform across the world throughout history. It's always been that way. So anyways, finish, preview, outro. All good things must come to an end. We want to make sure we got a plan. We want to make sure that we're going to capitalize or leverage to the best of our ability to make sure we're engaging properly with people. So, ask them, somebody, I can't remember where I found this one from, but I kind of like it. Ask if they want to write an offer on the property and don't respond first and be serious, right? Some of you can pull that off and it's going to be great. Some of you are not going to want to be that direct, but it's kind of meant almost like a shock question that, like, of course you're not going to, but you might want to, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're going to 99.9% going to say no, but man, I've actually, God, have I ever, I can't even think. I know it's happened. I know I've had people I know have done that where they've written an offer on an open house. I can't remember if I've ever done that. Like writing an offer on the property. I mean, I know people who have written an offer on the property like the next day or something that we did, but not like actually at the open house. That would be actually really cool. And you don't know that the seller hasn't asked her friends to come by. Totally, Celeste. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Cinnamon says, give them the floor plan. Yep, that's awesome. Can you go back to the script? No, I can't go back to the script, but the script is available in your Listings to Leads account under the marketing calendar presentation. So it's available there. Yeah, 3D tours. Awesome. Love it. Great comments. Great questions. Yep. All right. Always want to make sure we ask if they want to join our VIP list of other open houses and coming soon listings and off-market listings. All right. Then this is where, if it's appropriate, we can offer that list of open houses and other nearby listings. I want to have a conversation first before I give that list to them. Offer to show a specific home in the next week. So if you're having a conversation, this is why it's important to know what's available on the market. It's better if you've actually seen the properties available versus just knowing about them. So again, if you're going to have an open house next week, try and at a minimum get to know all the other listings in the area, but try to get over to see them if they're available on the broker's open.
To that point, remember earlier, we have the ability to gather all that information of the nearby listings.
Yeah.
So this is a way you can have a chance to show them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. And if they're a neighbor or an owner, right, obviously we know what to do from above. And just a few more funnel kind of a scripts here that you can take a look at a little bit later in your account. But it's just talking, because sometimes people are going to say they're just looking, or they might be interested in learning more about the property, or they're just not interested at all. And so we want to have a thought process behind each one of those possibilities. Open house follow-up. And we've actually got a great post in the mastermind group I'm going to point you to. And what I'll do is I'll bump it to the top in the mastermind group, but it's 7 ways to generate seller leads after the open house. But as far as follow-up, and again, I love about the client that I was showing off at the beginning of this call. He did this as well. Now that I think about it, he literally, I think, and I saw his spread. So he had wine, other non-alcoholic drinks. He had cheese, crackers, like salami, cold cut type thing. He had grapes as well at his open house. Had the handouts, had the balloons. I mean, he literally, and then he also did the follow-up here, because he told me, he goes, I'll call you back in a couple of hours. Or he goes, I'll message you in a couple of hours, because I'm getting all my open house follow-ups done. Like literally after the open house, he was doing this, not the next day. All right. So we want to make sure if you got BombBomb or can do a video clip to these people, just do it. 20, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Thank you for coming by the open house. And in fact, there's a script right here that you can use. Again, use this as inspiration, or use it, paraphrase it verbatim. But we're going to thank people for coming through the open house. All right. Just want to follow up with them. If they're not on your VIP, you might want to mention that you got the VIP list for off-market and coming soon properties. And if they've already signed up, they'll be getting the information shortly. And if you own a home and you're thinking about what it would sell for in the next couple of years or next 3 or 4 months, reply back and I'll get a home value estimate over to you. So again, it's just about making sure that we've got follow-up, whether it is this specifically, exactly, or inspirationally, but just have something that you're going to do. It's the worst when people just leave an open house and go home and go get a drink, right? Or go for a walk, right? Make sure we get that follow-up done first.
Can I make a point here?
Yeah.
Earlier was saying, you can use the signing sheet, which, on paper, or you can do the tablet, right? So in this case, if you do a tablet, you can probably do this follow-up a lot faster because the information is already in there. Versus then you have to enter manually, Yep. Just a thought.
Yeah, but there's other considerations, because sometimes people don't have a laptop, or they don't want to hand out their tablet, right? It's just they don't want to do that.
I know.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to figure out how you can make it more efficient for the follow-up, because a lot of times when the open house is done, the realtors go pick up their signs. They're exhausted, right?
Oh, for sure.
Clean up everything. You're like, I am done for the day.
Oh yeah.
Then they do the follow-up the next day. Then you lose all the momentum. So you gotta chop and do it.
Yeah. No, it's but if you did great marketing and you got a great listing and you've had 30, 40, 50 people come through, you can be completely drained. I get it.
I know.
Absolutely. All right. Now, after the open house is over with, and this is, oh my God, for years, I love this. Not enough people do this. All right. After the open house, think about updating all the homeowners about how the open house went. So you can do that with the nearby homeowner letter. You can do it on social media. You can do it through your database. All right. Sending a open house update about how the open house went. We've been training on this for a few years now. All right. Again, here I'm talking about, if you use the nearby homeowner letter before the open house, all right, awesome. Let me just go. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Right. So very similar to the pre-open house nearby homeowner letter, right? We're going to either mail or door knock the same doors. In fact, maybe for the agent that asked me to go with her, I'll mention this to her as well. Say, hey, listen, you know what? Why don't we right now plan on Tuesday, right? Or Monday, we'll go door knocking again, and we'll redo the letter. We're going to edit the letter, which I'll show you a little bit later, to be a post open house summary. Man, we're going to have more opportunity to talk and engage these homeowners. It'll be awesome. All right. And again, a circle prospecting script right here to be able to call through, right? To be able to call through the homeowners with a great little script about making sure that they know how the open house went, find out if they have any questions. All right, scroll down to see the details and more tips. All right, so this is just going to let you know, go to our Instagram. We got the Listings to Leads blog, but let's get into the account. Any questions on the mastery stuff? It's cocktail time somewhere for sure as they are leaving. Yep. Yeah, Charles, I mean, sure, right? I mean, if you got a little bit of dead time, I would start doing my follow-ups while I'm still at the open house, right? Very rarely does an open house have people constantly in the open house. I mean, it happens, and, great. It's one of those great problems to have, right? You're so busy that you couldn't do the follow-up until a little bit later. But it's even more important to do the follow-up because now you've got more leads. You got more great people that you don't want to let slip through your finger. So, during those times when we are having those crazy open houses, really try to kind of get into your core and go, you know what, I'm going to get this follow-up done before I just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to show the how
we're going to go to
it,
market
the
listing
social,
right now.
okay, social media?
Yeah. In
Facebook.
fact, before I do that, I want to give this link to everybody here. So if you've got a open house coming up, this post, I just put it in the chat. It's also on our blog, listingstoleads.com/blog. It's also in the mastermind group. And what I do here is just real quickly, 5 stories in 5 days. So I give you the poll question, a link, and which image for that listing to use. Again, this is yours or borrowed. So check this out. We are going to every day, and you can do this with the coming soon, a just listed and active listing. But here's at front of the house. And notice I got a poll, and there's a video on that page that shows you how to do this. I've got a poll. Can you see yourself living here? 3 options, 2 for buyers, 1 for sellers. And then there's a link right from my Instagram story. You can do this on TikTok. You can do YouTube Shorts with the same idea. Not all of them have the same functionality all the way through, but you can still do the basic types of posts on every single vertical platform. And then if I come back to this real quickly here, story number 2, so day number 2, we're going to do the kitchen. All right, here's your poll questions. And then I mentioned, link to a PDF guide, right? Let's use our Instagram story to promote a PDF guide and along with an engaging poll. And so if we go back right there, so there's that story, got some great music. All right, don't forget your music. And here's a link, 6 things to check before buying a home. We do this for pendings, we do it for just sold, but open houses, again, are so awesome. So there's the landing page. And then here's the poll. Is this kitchen your vibe? Right? Again, 2 replies for buyers, 1 reply for sellers. And then look at this later. But again, we go through day 3. So if today's Tuesday, so if you do Wednesday, the front, Thursday, the kitchen, Friday, the living room, Saturday, we'll do the primary bedroom or the backyard outdoor area. All right. So if you got if your bedroom works or the master bathroom or something, whatever. All right. Again, here's the story image. Here's the poll question. And here's the link we recommend. So take a look at this later. You'll see it all right there. And all of these resources are available at, or all the training, listingstoleads.com/open house if you need it. Again, listingstoleads.com/open house. On this page here is everything that we're going to go through in the next 6 minutes. All right. So everything, this was our most recent open house webinar where I go through for 45, 50 minutes of marketing, right? The next part that we're going to cover. And then I got a little detailed write-up. Here's the open house sign-in form. So when you get your listing and you get your open house, your listing or borrowed. Click the green market listing button. Facebook and Instagram ad. I say don't change anything, especially for an open house. The only thing I want you to make sure about, in fact, I hope, do you have time to hang out for like another 10, 15 minutes?
What?
If we go like 10 to 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
okay.
fine. Yeah.
Because I want to share something with everybody. If you can see this right here, and I'll kind of read it to everybody. The top two images are, well, the images on the left are the same ad, right? The same listing, I should say. So the top and the bottom left. And you can see on the bottom, $12.98 per lead. And the top, $4.51. And that's still pretty expensive. All right. $4.50 per buyer lead, still a little bit on the high side. On this other ad, right in the bottom, $11 per lead, which is horrendous. And then the top one is $2.76. Much, much better. And the only differences was the image that we used. So here, and it was interesting, the images are actually fine. All right. We didn't actually change the image, the images. What we changed was the color of the banner. And so they were gold. And so it kind of blended in. So here on the bottom right, you can see it's a little bit hard to see here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And I will bring that. There we go. So these are the bad performing ads. And, it's kind of blends in and everything as far as where it says just listed or for sale right here. And then all I did is I changed the placement because I figured, let me put them in the area closer to where the street is. And, because if I block the street, who cares, right? Nobody needs to see the street. And I changed the color to be a little bit more punchy, right? A little bit more catchy.
Visible. Yeah.
Yeah, visible. There you go. Perfect word, visible. And I tell you, I checked the names, emails, and phone numbers. And like one of them was a home phone. One of them had a bad phone, but the others were the other 4 or 3 were good information. So, kind of standard, but even they're all good emails, 1 bad phone, and then 1 home phone out of 5 leads. So to that point, if you look at your image and you go, it's not optimal. It could be better. You got 2 different options. Change template. And here, first of all, we've got 21 different image templates. So, how we arrange the photos. Sometimes they're just 1 photo. Sometimes there's multiple. Sometimes there's no banner. Sometimes there is. Sometimes there's no profile photo. You get the idea. But if you need to change the actual images in the template, top left, click that, and then this little editor will open. And now every image in here I can change. I just click. Now you can also upload a Canva image. You could upload a video, upload any kind of custom image that you want. So I can select a different image there. And then, like I said, if I want to change the color, because that blue is also a little bit blendy. So maybe I want to go like red or, more of a green color. Ooh, that's a little bright. Whatever. You get the idea. I just want to show you there. Make it pop a little bit nicer. You may want to make sure you stay on brand, or you may want to use your alternate color because maybe your primary brand color is blue. Well, blue's a little bit, again, kind of blends in a little bit much. And so your other alternate color might be a great one to take a look at. But again, just something to think about there.
It's extremely customizable, huh?
Yeah. Well, again, you can change the template, or you can just upload a completely different image or even video. And for an open house, the only thing I would do is I would say $50, because the 35 is just a minimum, right? We had to put in some number. I would say spend $50 for the ad, especially for an open house, but for any of them. And since it is an open house, I would just run it. So the 1st through the 6th, instead of the 8th, I'm gonna go to the 6th, change the time if I want to, right? Say 4 o'clock, end it, and just hit create ad. It's literally that easy. This will be a Facebook lead ad, name, email, phone number, and purchase time frame. And I talk to people all the time that some of 20% maybe, I figure, also have a home to sell. Right? Some of these leads are going to come through your open house, and you're going to find out that they own a home and that you're going to get, the buy and the sell side. So once your ad is done, you can click view, and then you can see what it looks like. This is a great link to share with the seller if you are the listing agent. Let's see, Facebook to come up. There we go. So this is the preview link. And if I click show ad, there's a little blue button there that says show ad. And it's normally the 2nd or 3rd post down. And there we go. So people will click the ad. What's your time frame to buy? So they'll select. And this is all default. Nothing you need to do. We do all this in the background. Name, email, and phone number. They click through. You get the lead notification. They will go to the single property website automatically. If you've got AI text follow-up connected, and that'll happen automatically. So the follow-up with the AI text will happen automatically. If you've got another CRM, another AI program, or whatever, make sure you go to your profile to connect those up so that all of your leads are getting into follow-up automatically. All right, we always want to make sure those leads are going to get followed up with. Social media posts, this will happen automatically. If you went through the Get Started wizard and you got everything connected, you can always click post now or schedule. The tools for the seller. Again, if you're not comfortable, if you're not familiar with this, go to listingstoleads.com/open house. Either scroll down to the write-up on this tool or just watch the video. And I think it's actually chaptered out. So you can go, tool by tool. But this is free leads. If you're the listing agent, these are free leads. So make sure to get the seller's email, salutation, send it to them. Again, this is for listing agents only, right? If you're borrowing a listing, you won't have this tool. But this puts this post, it gives it to the seller to post it to their page. I mean, free leads. Dustin Fox has gotten listings from this. People get buyer leads, seller leads. You want this on the seller's page. Their friends are gonna like it. They're gonna comment. They're gonna click through. They're gonna go to your single property website. And if you're not familiar, right, I got my 3D tour. I've got my 100-point home marketing plan, so people can actually download this. So imagine you could sign up for Listings to Leads right now, grab a listing or have it pulled in. If you enter the information for the MLS, we pull the listing in, you connect the wizard, right? We got the Get Started wizard, and you do an ad. You could have the ad, you could sign up, have the ad done in like 30 minutes and be live. And this listing presentation, right? The 100-point home marketing plan will be branded to your colors, your logo, your profile picture, everything, because we just do all of that in the back end. It's all automated. All right, professional photos. All right, my landing page for home values. People can download those, another lead form. So, man, so many great ways for the seller's friends to engage with us via the single property website. So get the post to them, get the e-flyer to them. All right, again, this is for the seller to share with their friends. And notice people are going to click through to the single property website. You get your signature at the bottom. We got the nearby homeowner letter. Now, for an open house, you're probably not going to have time to mail it. If you do, great. All right, if you do, awesome. But this is for an open house. And again, what I would do is I would click edit. So this does sit in the editor. And I would come by here and I would either edit this to the neighbor preview. So you might say something like, we're having a neighbors only preview open house at 15 M8 Way on, we'll just do like Dustin Fox, Friday, from, I'm not sure what time he does it. He may say in the book, I'll look it up later if somebody wants to ask me later.
Friday, probably not 4.
Yeah, maybe like 5 to 7 or something, but whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? 5 to 7, 4 to 6. I don't want, 7's a little bit late, depending on the seller. Maybe they're going to go out for dinner. So it won't really matter so much. So that's one use case right there. Now, if you're going to just invite them to, maybe you can't do a neighbors only separate day. Could you do, neighbors only from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. before the public open house? So they feel a little bit special still.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So maybe you can open up maybe it's just a half hour, right? But can you do something that is a little bit special for the neighbors? Worst case scenario, you can't. You just leave it as it is and you get it to them. So 3 different ways of using this pre-open house. And then post open house, again, right? We can edit. I got the post. It's in the mastermind group. I will bump it up a little bit later. But for example, check this out. We know that we had the open house at 15 Ambient Way. Now I don't need to give the time and all that kind of stuff. And had 34 people come through. Too bad there is only one home with so many buyers. They all loved the
neighborhood.
And a few will be talking to their realtor. You get the idea, right? So it's a little bit of a post open house summary about the fact that some people came through, right? Everybody loves the neighborhood, or, a lot of them love the neighborhood, right? We don't want to be blowing smoke up people's butt, but we want to be, we want to be engaging. So again, that's a great use case post open house for that letter. Because again, what does it do? It gives us more opportunity to connect, to engage, to converse with these homeowners that we want to list their homes at some point. Again, there's the postcards and door hangers. There's the circle prospecting script. All right. Again, if you got data from RedX, My Plus Leads, and you're able to skip trace and get numbers on the that are not on the DNC, great idea to circle prospect. This script is phenomenal. Again, use it verbatim as inspiration. Here is your invite to your database. Do not use your MLS email. Do not use your IDX. This is so much better. So this will be your invite to your database. When they click the image or the link, again, single property website. Oh, we have not talked, my gosh, about the lender being a part of the open house. Right? We were going to talk.
I was waiting for you to.
Pardon me?
Give me a chance to add.
You know what, look, since we're almost done right here, let me just finish this up. But give us maybe 10 more, give me 2 more minutes right here. Again, listingtoleads.com/open house for the full training in detail on the marketing. So, but database call script, short form video script. We've got the open house sign-in form, completely customizable. So you can see here, I'll just show you. So people just tap it or click it. All the questions you can customize. So people will click through. But yeah, I really want to talk about lenders and how a lender can be your best asset at an open house. So they'll put in their information from the sign-in form, and they're going to get a PDF guide, 6 things to check before buying a home. So more value automatically coming through that open house sign-in form. We got listing flyers. Print these up, have them at the open house. If you got the text IVR with listings to leads, that'll automatically be put in there. It'll have the QR code, multiple photos, like 40 different templates to select from. Sign writers. I want you to put this on the top of your yard sign. All right. Do it ASAP. If you're the listing agent, if you're the selling agent, or if you're borrowing, you probably can't do it. But if you're the listing agent, get this on your yard sign now before the open house. Don't do it the morning of. Don't be a goofball. All right. Do it the Monday before the open house because it's going to catch people's attention. But some people are going to.
That was not the sign writer.
No. But this is the status. So this goes on top.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And then the one we're looking at will go below the arm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's amazing. I was walking around. I have not seen one sign writer.
Oh, I know. I see a few.
I'm thinking,
There's
how
a few, but you're right.
many leads have literally just not captured. So
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't be that
it's
person.
nuts.
Please order this.
All right. 2 more things real quickly. I would have the 100-point home marketing plan. Print that up, especially if you used it for that listing. But if you didn't, that is if you go to listings, and I really, really, really want to talk about the lenders. So, if you can hang out with us for a little bit, please do, because it's a great conversation. I apologize we didn't get to that earlier. Next time we totally will. But in listings to leads right here where it says listing presentation, right? Now you can create these for specific listings where every image is of their property, but you got your default one right here under property marketing plan. And then this, right, the 26-page general one that you can use if you need to. So maybe you don't have any listings, maybe you're a newer agent, you can still print this up and have it at the open house. So any sellers coming through, check this out. I mean, this is so good. And this is just absolute default, right? Again, you can create these custom for specific properties. So when you got a listing presentation coming up or an expired listing or a FSBO listing, you can create these. But look how good the general one looks. So good. All right. And then the very, very last thing I've got before we're going to get into that conversation, the PDF guides all have print flyers, right? They look like this. You'll see there's a QR code. And so sometimes, look at this, a little plexiglass flyer stand. And people will print up a couple. There we go. People will print up a couple and just put them around the open house. They're great because once you have them, you can keep them, so you can use them over and over and over again. And it's just more engagement points for homeowners and home buyers coming through the open house. So I would, if you go to PDF guide.
Oh, even home sellers too.
I'm sorry?
Even home sellers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of home sellers go through open houses.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially if the open house is in the neighborhood.
Right.
Especially if they can't miss your signs.
So I will have like these plastic glasses with different PDF guides.
Yeah. So here, I'll show you. If you click on marketing tools, right? So how to sell your home in a changing market, marketing tools, print flyers, and then there's a few different versions here that you can see that you can download and print. Right? They look sharp, right? All to your branding. Here's horizontal, here's vertical. But yeah, these are sharp. I would definitely, and it's just one of those things that's going to make you look more professional as people are coming through the open house.
Yeah.
Please, do we still have, what about an agent's open house? My clients are not comfortable having people. Yeah. In agents, I don't know. I mean, there is, but that's just the brokers, right? That's just a broker tour at that point. I wouldn't do a Saturday or Sunday open house for agents. Yeah, again, if your seller doesn't want to do an open house, that's completely their prerogative, right? We can't force our sellers to do an open house because they're going to resent us. They're not going to be happy with you, even if they agree to finally let you do it. Unless you really did a good job of why an open house can be important, because people, they want to see a property. They don't want to just have to do it over the internet.
Yeah, like a virtual open house. Is that what they were thinking? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, but I get it. Yeah,
Eh,
people are,
we're different people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm not going to fight with my seller. I'm just going to let them know, it would be better to do. Can I end an ad early? Yes, Paul. Yeah, in fact, I was going to mention that earlier. So I was talking to a client last week, and what they do is they run an ad. Now, if it's not performing, dude, I killed this ad, right? Remember, I was showing you this, right? I was showing you this. The original ads were these two right here. And I looked, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, $12.98 per, no way. That barely a seller lead for a pending or sold listing would cost that. All right. And that would be great for a seller lead, $12.98. And then this one here, 11.12, barely any better. So I stopped them. Dude, I turned those bad boys off. And then I reran them, right? I changed the colors. That's all I did. And then 451, 276.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely keep an eye on the ads performance, Then you can do
Oh,
A/B testing.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Don't
I've
waste
even
money on
seen,
non-performing ones, for sure.
and I've even seen clients' accounts where, just regular ads, right? One ad is running at, for one listing is $7 lead. The next one is $1.30. Another one is $4. The other one is $2.50. It's just, you never know. The best thing you can do, and another client emailed me on this just a couple of hours ago. The best thing you can do is try to spend between, I would spend between like 50-ish bucks on a buyer ad per week, maybe, $50 to $100 on a seller ad a week. Don't get freaked out when an ad is coming in a little bit high. Don't get freaked out when you get bad contact information, because you got to just get into running them consistently.
Right.
Because when I look in the back end, I look at our stats, the same people are always coming up with great cost per lead because they're doing it every single week. Every week they're just doing it, and the algorithm gets better for them. Facebook wants you to spend money. The problem is you're doing your ads like you do your workouts, like I do my workouts, right? Infrequently and inconsistently. And that's why, well, whatever. It's all good. But if you want your ads to do better, right?
You cannot,
Consistency.
yeah. You
Yeah.
just
And
cannot
then,
achieve that result in all one swoop. You just got to do it
yeah.
little by little, and
And you just
then
gotta,
adjust.
exactly. Just like I did right here. Just like
Yeah.
I did right here. I noticed that was crappy, unacceptable, disgusting, and unworthy. We redid it,
Unacceptable.
and now it's better. Yeah, and again, 451. I mean, that's fine. Different areas are going to be a little bit more money. System wide for open houses, we were actually, for sale is a little bit more for whatever reason.
Okay. So
Lenders.
we're approaching like an hour 20. So let's talk about the lenders if you're almost done.
Yeah, I'm totally
Real
done.
quick.
Yeah. So yeah, let's real quickly talk about lenders, because a lender can be a great asset at an open house. So can you just lead that conversation with us or for us?
Well, yeah, it just real quickly. Okay, so for agents out there, especially in today's market, people concerned about affordability, like how much it will cost me to own this home. So when you are gathering information for your open house, make sure you do reach out to your lenders, have a property financing sheet ready. Okay, this is a great piece of information that the buyers are looking for, because they want to go there and see, okay, how much is it going to cost me to own this home? And you have a lot of more engaging conversations, right? So definitely reach out to the lender, get a financing sheet ready. And I was talking to Craig, and he mentioned about affordability. There are options out there whether you want to cut the price or you want to buy down the rate. And in most cases, it will save a lot more from a buyer's perspective if you give them the option to buy that rate down versus cutting prices. And if in a market where there is so many more listings and your listing is not selling, for example, this is a good conversation to have. And sometimes the best option would be give them more credit at the back without cutting the price, because as a listing agent, it makes you look better, right? So really good conversations to have with your lender. So be proactive. Also, another thing to think about, lender, agent, they are, when you co-marketing together, you could share marketing budget as well, and you can reach out and you both get buyer leads and seller leads. It's a win-win. So I just want to put out there. And one last thing, for the single property website, it's really easy to add a section where you can talk about financing, right? So we might not have time to discuss this, but
actually, two things on what you just said. We do have a PDF guide.
Okay.
The 2-1 buy down, what it is, how it works. There's one for the seller. So notice the green jelly bean for seller, one for a buyer.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned earlier about those flyers, right, in the flyer box at the open house, you know, we got a print flyer right here for that. So here, right, 2-1 buy down, what is it? So actually, if I
have some, essentially have that ready somewhere in the open house so people can like.
Yeah, that'd be a great one.
Yeah, that's actually cool. Yeah.
And then let me show everybody about the single property website. And did Craig did he leave? Is he still here? Did he send a link? Let me check my Facebook and see if he might have sent it. No. All right. Yeah, he didn't. All right. But let me just show people a couple of different options. Let's see here.
You can essentially insert a section about the financing with that property.
Yeah. In fact, you know, here's a good, just like I've got my 3D tour and I've got a client review video, maybe. Yeah, right here, right? Client review video. You can insert content into the single property websites really easily. So for example, I've got my open house, and you can do this for any listing. I think this would be a great idea for any listing, is to have a affordability section.
Yeah.
Right. So if I go to edit section, so again, I'm under edit listing. There's a section called sections. Click on the add section. Goodness. Tab name, I might say affordability calculate. I don't know. I'm just whatever. I apologize for not having a better idea of what to do here. But this could be a let's see, this could be text. It could be text with a link. So for example, you could talk about the different rate options and then link to more information at the lender's website or your website about the lender options. It could be a video. It can't be an attachment, or can it? Maybe ask.
I don't know. We'll have to explore a bit more, but this is a way you can get a little bit more creative. And I think we're running out of time, but
yeah,
just, you know, there is an area you can actually have.
Yeah, but at a minimum, to Yi's point, is get a hold of your lender, find out the different loan options or scenarios or whatever it is for affordability, right? Different price points might hit a little bit differently. And hey, if your lender can go with you, if the lender wants to put in some money to market, maybe to help out with the open house, right? Bring some stuff over, right? In conjunction with what you're already doing, man, I tell you, it could be could be a great opportunity. Now, what I don't want is, I don't want my lender there bogarting stuff, right? And you know, kind of stepping on and trying to be a little too salesy. So it's going to depend on the lender, whether I want them there or not. But at least what I am going to do for sure is use the lender as a great resource to learn and have better conversations with buyer leads about different loan options, about affordability, so that I can, again, as an agent, be of more value. All right, everybody good to go? Let me see here. Let me go back to, all right, awesome. Charles, are you good? Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Paul, that's what I thought, that you ended it. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, got it. Yeah, perfect. Ileana, thank you so much. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Yep. Yes, this is recorded. We will publish this later. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will end it now. Tomorrow, if you go to listingsleads.com/expired, we're going to be having our expired live tomorrow, where I'm literally going to walk through creating a postcard campaign in Mailbox Power. talking about how you can send leads from My Plus Leads into Mailbox Power automatically from My Plus Leads. You can do it from Redx as well, and trigger off a postcard campaign. And then we'll also talk through the e-flyers. Just, oh my God, just had another client, had an expired, prepared the PDF guide and the flip book, and got the expired listing. I mean, it's so awesome. All the great marketing tools for expireds and FSBOs that we've got. But tomorrow we're going to go through expireds. So again, go to listeningtoleads.com/expired for that one. All right. Are we good?
All right, everybody, have a great night.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. For any more questions, get into the mastermind group, get with support. We'll talk to you soon.